What is going on, guys? So I know I'm kind of super slow when it comes to these type of decks, but I am showing you now today the Predaplant deck profile that I'm running. It's only a fun deck. It's actually really fun, nice little concept and stuff, the way it plays. Really easy to pick up. The names aren't easy, but the way it plays is actually easy. But anyway, yeah, so it's based on a fusion deck. It's one of my favorite characters, one of the you guys, the four brothers or whatever. Yori is the one in the anime. So yeah, it's a really fun deck, and it's not like majorly competitive, because you have to rely kind of on your opponent as well. And if your opponent you can like come back a couple of times, but if your opponent has too much negations and stuff, it does mess with the deck a good bit. So we got new support in Soul Fusion, so I'm going to talk about that. So we've got 3 of the Spinodion I don't know, it's a confusing name, but Spino is what I call it anyway. So the way Spinos works is you can target a monster and put a Predaplant counter on it. So it works with counters as well, and you can fuse your opponent's monsters with these counters, or you can use the monsters. So the way the counters work is if your opponent has a counter, it becomes level 2 or lower. And then if this monster attacks a level 2 or lower monster, you can actually special summon a monster from the graveyard, a Predaplant monster from the graveyard. So you get to kind of bring back your Clameda Sundew, which is the next one, which I'm just going to call Sundew. So you get to bring back this card. So this card is one of the best cards in the deck. This is what makes it very kind of viable and stuff. So what this one does is it's a kind of polymerazation on legs. So what you can do is you can fuse your opponent's monsters and monsters in your hand and field with this card, as long as there's a Predaplant counter on it or a Predaplant monster in your hand, like, or on the field or whatever. So it works really well just taking your opponent's monster. Now it doesn't give its own Predaplant counter, which is why you use Spinos. So Sundew is really good. I just call it Sundew, it's much easier to remember. Next we have Serra Ancient, or Ancient Ant. Sorry for the glare, if I can get over. So the way Ancient Ant works is it's kind of like a hand trap. If you have it in your hand and your opponent attacks you, you can special summon it, and then if your opponent destroys this by battle, the opponent's monster gets destroyed as well. So it's really good that way. You can also, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Predap card from your deck to your hand. So you can search basically all the deck. Then we have 3 Orifice Scorpio, another thing that didn't get hit on a ban list, thankfully. So the way this works is you discard a monster. If it's normal or special, you discard a monster, you special summon one Predaplant monster from your deck to the field. So you can fuse, or you can bring Clamada Sundew and fuse the 2 of them, or you can bring out this next card, which is Darlantonia Cobra. So the way Darlantonia Cobra works is if it's special summoned, you get to add a fusion or a polymerazation card, or a spell card with fusion in it, from your deck to your hand. So you get to search out a good bit of stuff. So I'll show you some of the options I picked there for that. The next and last Predaplant is Hydra. I'm just going to say Hydra because it's like, if I try to pronounce Drosophilum, I don't know. So what this one does is basically from the graveyard or your hand, you contribute a monster to your opponent. Just say you have Spinos, you target one of your opponent's monsters, give them a Predaplant counter, and then you can actually tribute that monster to special summon this, and it's 2300 defender, which is pretty good. And the last monster we run is Lone Fire Blossom. Just Lone Fire Blossom pretty much searches out the whole deck. You can special summon a plant type monster from your deck just by tributing him or another plant type monster, whatever you're looking for. So that's it for the monsters. Pretty kind of normal lineup. This is most decks will kind of have that lineup as well. But yeah, so next we have 3 Preda Pruning. So Preda Pruning is just like a monster born for Predaplant monsters, which is very good. Then we have Predaponics, which is you can special summon level 4 or lower Predaplant monster from your hand or graveyard, but its effects are negated, and if this card leaves the field once per turn during standby phase, pay 800 life points or destroy that card. And then the new card we got from Soul Fusion is Predaplant. So the way this works is you reveal Predaplant monsters in your hand, or Predap is just Predap cards in your hand, so you can do the Predaponics or the Preda Pruning or whatever. You have them in your hand, and then your opponent just say, like for instance, I dueled with it today. And my opponent had 2 monsters. They both of them got Predaplant counter on them, and I was able to actually fuse with the 2 of them or whatever eventually, and it worked out really well. So it's a nice little way to just put a load of counters on your opponent's monsters. Next we have 3 Allure Darkness, because you're running many targets, self-explanatory. 3 Polymerazation, just a good card. 3 Fusion Substitute, just because you can target a fusion monster in the graveyard, put it back in the extra deck and draw a card. The one Super Polymerazation from the last ban list. The one Monster Born and the one Soul Charge, just for like generic kind of staples. You can run whatever you want instead of my staples. And then like the next 3 cards, just for a bit of negation, is 3 Solemn Strike. You can run Hand Traps if you want, Drone Lockbird, you can run Ghost Ogre, Ash Blossom, whatever you want. I just wanted to run a trap, Solemn Strike, because it's good, like just you can set it and save yourself some hassle. Next one we're running is the main boss monster, which is Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon, one of the best cards in it. So basically what you do is you can target a level, you have to fuse it with Starving Venom. And a Predaplant monster, one dark monster whose original level is 8, that's what it says, and a dark monster, so you're going to use Starving Venom. But you can target a face-up monster and make its attack 0. And then if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can destroy all monsters on the field as much as possible. And then you can banish a level 8 or higher dark monster in the graveyard and special summon this from the graveyard. So it reoccurs itself, which is really good. It's 3,300 beat stick, very, very good. Next we have the smaller version. We have Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, so he's pretty good. He basically targets a special monster and gains their attack, so he can get up to crazy attack. In the anime, I think he's a little bit better because you can actually target all the special monsters and he gains all their attack, which is pretty cool. But anyway, so then you can target a monster opponent controls with level 5 or higher, and then he can gain their effects and their names and stuff as well. So if your opponent has something strong out in the field, it's going to beat it. Then we have Chimera Flesia. So if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can search a Predaplant, a Fusion or a Polymerazation spell card. But what it does is, once per turn you can target a monster on the field whose level is less than or equal to this card's and banish it. So you can just free banish, and then when it attacks is declared involving this card and opponent's card face-up monster, you can activate this effect. Until the end of this turn, the opponent's monster loses 1,000 attacks. So it's going to get over nearly just about everything. And then this one is one of the new cards as well that came out recently in the last support in Soul Fusion. And this is one fusion monster and one dark monster, and I actually used this against the BA deck. Somebody had Dante the Pilgrim, and I was able to actually fuse his Dante with one of my dark monsters, and it was actually quite cool that way. Like not a lot of decks run fusions, but when they do, you are going to punish them for it. So that's why you have Predaplant Drago Stepelia. So what this does is it kind of works like Spinos. You can target a monster and place a Predaplant counter on it, and if you do, it becomes level 2 or higher, and level 1s or whatever. And then it also negates the effects of any monster with a Predaplant counter on it. So that's it for the fusions. Let's get into the XC. So I have some generic links. So we have Topologic Bomber Dragon, Borolo Dragon, Firewall Dragon. We have the one Ashik Magician, just to kind of help out. I'd change Ashik and this card, Pentastag, with Wee Witch, Wee Win Witch or whatever. The one Nightmare Phoenix, the one Link Haribo for Sarah Ancient, and then the one rank 3, because you can go for Orifice Scorpio, and you can go for Darren Antonia Cobra, and there's just if you need some problematic card removed, you can just destroy this and destroy that card, if that was the case. So that's it for the deck profile, guys. Please let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and good luck.